Hello, guys, welcome to Critical Thinking. In today's session, we are looking at what are causal arguments. But the aim of this session is to look at the statement of what causal arguments are, mention and explain the basic fallacies that are involved in causal arguments. Let's go ahead. A causal claim is an assertion that something is or is not the case without necessarily having any evidence for the assertion. So you can state that something might have caused one thing or might have been an effect of the other without necessarily providing any evidence to show that, oh, this led to that or one thing led to the other thing. We make a lot of causal claims, though they may not always contain the word cause or caused. For example, jogging keeps you healthy, right? Note that essential to a causal claim is a relationship between two events such that one is the effect and the other is identified as the cause. So we have some example here, and note that a causal claim is a claim that suggests the presence or absence of causation. So you don't necessarily have to state that there's a presence of a cause or there's an absence of a cause. Yeah. So some examples: vitamin C does not cure colds. Another says a witch cried last night and the baby died this morning. And you can see that not all of them indicate verily the presence of a cause or effect. It has something missing there. You can check it out. Now, a causal argument, on the other hand, so what we just looked at as a causal claim. A causal argument, on the other hand, asserts or denies that something is the cause of something else. I can't log on. The network must be down. The gas chamber exploded without any alarm. This happened immediately he left the chamber. So causal argument this is not just the claim, the causal claim, but this is a causal claim with some attached evidence that indicates what some high level of causation from a certain effect. Or so I can't log on, the network must be down. So the reason why I can't log on is that the network must be down, and that's the argument. So this indicates an example for what a causal argument. It is very important to know and discuss causal claims because failure to do so may lead to false cause fallacy. This is a fallacy committed when an event is claimed to be the cause of something when it is not, or when an event is claimed to be the cause of something when there is poor evidence to support that it is. This claim is offered as evidence for support for that conclusion. That is, because A and B may be happening almost all the same time at the same time. For example, say clouds forming and the rain falling, then clouds might be considered to be the cause for rainfall. And it's not always the case. That commits what? A fallacy. Look at this example. Since there is full moon, there will be more babies born this week. And there being a full moon doesn't necessarily necessitate the birth of more babies. So you have to keep in view such errors may commit what? The false cause fallacy. Now let's look at S-ought claim. Now some of these claims that we look at are causal claims and some of them are erroneous. So you should be careful of them. And that's why critical thinking introduces you to them. An S-ought claim occurs when a conclusion claiming what ought to be the case is based solely on the consideration of what is or what has been the case. The knowledge of S-ought claims help us to avoid S-ought fallacy. An S-ought fallacy can appeal to tradition, status quo, guilt, ingratitude, or loyalty. Let's look at an example for an S-ought claim. You should not sit at the boss's place. So it's implying that because it's the boss's place, you ought not to sit there. And that's an S-ought claim. Let's look at an S-ought fallacy. It is a fallacy because the S-ought claim appears in an argument. You remember I took you to the restaurant on our special occasion. Tomorrow is my birthday, so you need to take me there. So this person is making an argument that because she took you to the place during their special occasion, then you ought to take her there too, because it's her birthday tomorrow, and that's an insult fallacy. What is a wishful thinking claim? A wishful thinking claim is a claim in which a person's belief is presented as evidence for some claim. Knowing wishful thinking claims can avoid wishful thinking fallacies. Let's look at examples. Despite being unemployed, I won't die in poverty, but there's no evidence to show that I won't die in poverty. It's just a mere belief, and just a belief can support such a claim. Now that's a claim, wishful thinking. Let's look at wishful thinking fallacy. Angels do exist. It makes me feel better to think that they are with me, so I'm justified in saying they exist. Now that is a wishful thinking fallacy. So in everyday life, we think about cause and effect. We often do not think, or not, though not always, want to know what caused some effect that interests us. It is never legitimate to conclude that one thing caused another. Doing this will lead us at least one of these fallacies: false cause, is or wishful thinking. So one needs to be guided. All right. Thank you very much for paying attention to this episode. We'll catch ourselves later on in the next session.